What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus Ally X gameplay video for you guys today. And today, we're gonna check out a game I've been looking forward to playing for quite a while, ever since it was announced. We're gonna play ourselves some Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I mean, heck, I get to play as a pirate and as my favorite character in the series. What's more fun than that? Well, I mean, I guess if you don't like pirates and all that stuff, you wouldn't enjoy that stuff. But since I like all that stuff, it's awesome for me. But in any case, though, Steam Deck played it pretty well. It had one spot in 50 minutes where it dropped frames quite a lot, down into the single digits, just for a second or two. It was like it was pre-caching or something. Like it ran out of memory or something and then it had to like get rid of it real quick. That's what it seemed like a memory dump or something like that. But the game just came out. Hopefully stuff like that will improve with some updates and whatnot. But I would still say it's worth a check mark because most of the time they give it a check mark when the game can't even hit 30 FPS at all low settings with FSR on performance. You know, and that's just like, no, that should not be a check mark. I don't know who's in charge of that. I would never give a game like that a check mark ever. Even if someone tried to pay me money, I'd be like, hell no. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and go hook this up to the capture computer and let's go see what the Ally can do.
All right, so we're gonna start off here, 1080p, high settings, which I guess end up being medium. That's a little weird, but okay. Could have sworn I picked high, but so I guess I made the fire bat do a little bit harder than this. I made that go up to high because I sat there going, what the heck? I could have sworn I did high. So I guess high, for some reason, has more medium settings. Anyway, to the game. All right, well, still, this isn't exactly super great FPS. We're almost at 30, but dropping under quite a bit, too. I would not enjoy playing like this anyway. So if we put the settings up even higher than this, no wonder the fire bat played at like 18 FPS. I guess this one probably would be like about down to freaking 20 or something, too. Oh yeah, and frame gen in this game is insanely lame, at least right now in its current state. It's broken on everything again. Or at least everything I tried it on. I didn't get to any of my other computers, but so far, everything I've tried it on has given me some issues. So that made me go, okay, that makes me not even want to try it. Because I really don't want to install stuff, reinstall games. That's what I had to do on my AMD PC. Luckily on NVIDIA, it just crashes the game. That's not a big deal. I still might try it real quick on those just to see. But I've only got the two 4090s left, so. And I have a feeling those will probably play this game just basically maxed out at 4K without the help of DLSS. But who knows? I could be wrong. I'll still try DLSS on that too. But I don't think it'll really need frame gen in the first place. Oh, I can grab that? Cool. I figured those guys were going to try to fight me. Oh yeah, borderline playable for some, I'm sure. This is a little bit too slow for me, personally. If I want to be under 60, I'd rather be in like the 35 to 45 range. Heck, I mean, just staying above 40 feels like infinitely better to me than being at 30. But still, of course, nowhere near as good as just 60 plus. In a game like this, as usual, I've said it a million times, but I like my 80 to 100 FPS. I don't really need much more than that. I'll accept more if I don't have to like sacrifice graphics to get it, but I'm not gonna like turn on a bunch of stuff like FSR to get more if I don't have to. DLSS, on the other hand, that's a different story. Well, now to be a little more thorough than usual, we're gonna also try turning on some FSR. And we're just leaving it on the high preset. So weird that it's medium though on the high. That's probably because it has highest as a setting. But anyway, we're gonna use FSR 3.1.2. And there we go. Let's see how it does. Well, now let's run around again. Truth be told, I probably could have continued on with the game at these kind of FPS. This is already much better. But I didn't want to really move on until I started getting 60 plus. So I'm pretty sure I just ran around this area. But I did progress with the game eventually. I just didn't want to be getting into fights and whatnot at 30, 40 FPS. That was not fun. I remember doing it on the freaking fire bat. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I didn't fight on the thing. I could have sworn it was that one, though. That's what happens when you do too many damn systems. They all start molding together in your head. Road closed. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I noticed there was like a bunch of swimsuits being like shown off, but I don't see too many women here. It seems to be like almost all dudes. I think I've seen like 3 or 4 chicks this whole time. Actually, no, I think 5, including this dude's sister. They're not welcome around these parts. Quality onion. The onion. Anyway, that was a pretty giant stutter right there. But that's what happens. I've noticed this game kind of does that when you're trying to make it play on stuff it's too high of settings for something to handle. It seems to be much smoother once I drop settings and start getting closer to 60. Me, I'd play this game just on 720p with like some medium-ish settings. And then with some FSR. I don't like using FSR if I don't have to, but a lot of games nowadays you just have to if you want to get as close to 60. Which definitely does not do you any favors for sharpness and or any of that stuff. Obviously you can mess with the sharpening, it just never ends up looking that great. At least to my eyes. Everybody's different though. Luckily what I like, it does not dictate that anyone else can't like something. Anyway, let us move on. Now we'll try 900p with medium settings here. We'll try it native first, then we'll turn on the FSR. But see, look, it still says medium, just like high. All it seemed to do was turn the texture filtering down, really. And maybe there was one other toggle that would turn from on to off, but I'm pretty sure they were all the same. Either way, though, resolution is down a little, so that should help. So, to the game. All right, well, looks like we're back to like more of like a 30 FPS thing if you want to do native here. Which isn't a problem for some, but me, I like it to be more 40. But it can hit 40 sometimes, but I have a feeling there might be some spots in the game where these kind of settings here might still drop under 30. I know not everybody cares about that kind of thing, but that's my absolute bare minimum. I do not like when games are dropping down into the 25s and like that. Every once in a blue moon is okay. But if it's going to be doing that all the time, it's like, no, I'm not going to play a game like that. Not without messing with the settings, or I'll just play on something else. I'm lucky I can try different things. I don't have to just be on one thing. But not everybody can do that, so that's why I'm starting to try as many different settings as I can to try to appease as many people as you can. Unfortunately, you can't make everybody happy. No matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody you didn't do a good enough job for, and that's okay. As long as I make the majority of you guys happy, that's all I care about. Especially the people that would do the requests. But yeah, I think that's one main thing that separates me from things. I mean, I'm not the only person that does requests, but I don't see too many people that actually take requests from commenters seriously. I always will. If I got the game and I'm interested in it, or it's on Game Pass or something like that, even if I'm not interested in it, I'll give it a shot. I don't care. I've even tried some sports games that were on like EA Play before. I suck at sports games, but if I don't gotta pay for it, hell yeah. I mean, I'm still paying for the service, but I don't want to go pay $70 for a sports game I'm never going to play afterwards, you know? I'm not good at them. And I made an absolute fool of myself. I think I played football and soccer. I did a little bit better at soccer, but football, I got my ass handed to me. But I don't even know the damn rules. So, of course I did. I'd be kind of weirded out if I did good at it. Soccer, I can remember some rules, but not really all of them. I just remember playing it a little bit as a kid. Although I did not listen to what I was supposed to be doing. I just was like, ooh, ball, I'm going to try to get it and score. And my team all got pissed at me. Anyway, moving on. Now to try out some FSR. Basically the same settings. All we're doing is turning FSR onto quality. And we're using 3.1.2. Which I think is the newest one. Well, FSR 4 is the newest one, but that's technically not out yet until that new GPU comes out. And I don't think any of us with the older GPUs are going to get any benefits out of it, unfortunately. But, in any case, do the game. Well, now, here we go. We got FSR on now. Definitely makes it look a little bit worse, but not as bad as it usually does. And blowing it up like this usually makes it look 10 times worse than it actually does on the screen, too. And we're definitely getting some alright-ish FPS now. I would still prefer a little bit more, but hey, I could still play like this in a slower paced game like this. But I know myself, I would still sit here and tinker a little more trying to get 60. Because on such a small screen, I don't really care. Even with my crazy ass eyesight, it's harder to tell finite detail. The only thing I usually ever notice is if I have to get aggressive and turn it down to like balanced FSR or something, even on the screen itself, I notice the freaking hair getting pretty aliased and shit. And usually grass suffers. And even sometimes you get the older school upscalers that start shimmering and doing all sorts of goofy shit. Like ghosting. And then FrameGen can artifact and do all sorts of lame shit. Skip frames. So they're not perfect. Still glad they exist though. Although FrameGen I'm just not a big fan of. Especially after what it did to me in the past couple of games here. Past couple games I've tried it on have been kind of an ass. Although, in its defense, I didn't have the correct drivers on for one of them, so I can't really entirely blame it. But AMD didn't put them out in time. I thought they weren't even going to at first, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll get the video done. 2 days after, hey, the drivers for that came out, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Well, whatever, we'll redo it. And I did. But yeah, sorry I'm just walking around and whatnot here. I'm going to start playing the game here in a little bit. I just wanted to find a spot where we could run around and get some FPS data that was repeatable real quick. Since at first it wasn't really giving me the FPS I wanted. Alright though, I'd say it's about time for us to go move on the low. Alright, first we'll try it out just stock. No upscaling of any kind. Just 720p, low settings. And then we'll try FSR, of course. And then I tried FrameGen, which did not go well and made me do all sorts of lame stuff, but I still tried it out. But anyway, let us get into the game. So now, here we go. 720p. And it can almost get 60 plus right off the rip. Not quite. Obviously, it does not look all that fantastic anymore, but still, I've seen games that look way worse like this on their lowest settings. And we will turn on some FSR in a little bit too, and that's where you finally get 60 plus all the time, everywhere I've seen anyway. And I'm pretty sure I just go with those settings, maybe? Although I do try FrameGen out first, I think, and then I come back and try out my settings. I think that's how it goes. But not until we're done with low FSR, which is after this. But wanted to run her a little more first. Go get some treats. We got a Misty passing by. I needed to move my cup for her though. It was empty anyway, but I didn't want her to knock it over and scare herself. I don't think she would have. She didn't look like she was interested in jumping down on it anyway. Alright though, let's go turn on that FSR real quick, and then we can actually get some pretty decent FPS. Although, it does not look very good. Still. So now here we go. We're going to turn on some FSR 3.2.1. At least I think that's what it is. We'll get to it and see anyway. Alrighty, and with that, let's get into the game. Alright, well, now we've got some FSR on. And when you're at this low of a resolution, it definitely is pretty apparent something is going on. Especially when it's all blown up like this. It's not as evident when you're on the actual screen itself, so I would still play on this resolution. with the FSR on and whatnot, just so I can get my 60 plus. But that's just me. There's plenty of other ways that I showed that it can be played too. Alright though, why don't we go ahead and move on along? Well, after fighting with this thing for a while, I finally got FSR frame gen to turn on, but it doesn't seem to actually like do anything. So I think it might have says it's on in the settings, but I don't know if it actually is on. It sure doesn't seem to help, but I'm guessing it's just bugged for now, because it usually still will tell you it's getting more fake frames, you know? Alright, so here we go with some frame gen. And see what I mean? It doesn't really seem like it's working. And in fact, it almost seems like it's giving us a little bit less performance than we were getting just with FSR on quality. But maybe it's just bugged for now. If they ever fix it or whatever, I'll obviously give it another shot. But for now, not really pleased with its results. And then I had to reinstall the game to shut it back off. It kept crashing the game every time I turned it off. It was pretty much like a what the fuck moment for sure. And then I remember I tried it on the small form factor PC, which uses an NVIDIA GPU, and that still crashed the game no matter what when I turned it on. Alright though. Now, let's go move on again. Well, here's the settings I'd go with. I think they're pretty much the same thing I went with on the Steam Deck, actually. Only difference is this thing can actually hit over 60 the whole time. Like this. But alright, to the game. Well now, here we go. Settings I'd use. It does a pretty good job. We stay in like the 70s, dropping into the high 60s every once in a while. At least here. Could be spots where we drop well under 60, but at least here seem to be pretty good. Alright, now for some camera recorded gameplay. Took me a little longer to do this video since I had to reinstall the whole game. FrameGen really screwed me over. Hopefully it doesn't do that every time I try it on something. That'll get old rather fast. But I'm not even gonna bother trying it out if we can't even get like close to 70 to 80 FPS. And I'd rather it be 80 to 100. It wasn't even really, this thing still wasn't even getting enough FPS for me to warrant trying it anyway. And then, it didn't even work good. It seemed to do pretty terrible and get like less FPS almost than we were getting here. So I was like, okay, well, to be perfectly honest, it's almost like it didn't seem like it was on correctly. Because normally it would add lots of input lag and it didn't feel that much worse. It still didn't feel quite as smooth as it does right now. Like it was kind of like move, move, move kind of thing. So not like end of the world kind of shit, but I wouldn't want to deal with that. Especially if I'm not really even getting a so-called FPS bump, even though it's fake, you know? Yeah, it's an interesting technology, but it doesn't really work that well unless you have a bunch of other variables set up correctly. It's not a band-aid, not a fix-all, be-all band-aid. Now I remember even arguing with a dude just the other day about this. And he was sitting there saying, nah, you can use FrameGen no problem at 40 FPS and it feels absolutely great with no input lag whatsoever and the game looks absolutely great. And I get like 80 FPS to 120 on every game. And he was trying to say that Monster Hunter ran like perfectly on his. That Monster Hunter Wild Song. No, I literally tested that. And it runs like absolute dookie. Because even with everything on lowest, it only got like 40 FPS or 42 or something like that. With still lots of drops to barely 30. I don't think it dropped under 30, but it may have. Anyway though, let's go talk to these people we're supposed to talk to real quick. I think we've picked up all the stuff again. I wanted to pick up everything, because it also crashed the game, so I lost all the stuff I picked up. What is that on my screen? Get off the frickin' screen, whatever the heck you are. Try to keep the screen clean for you guys, but stuff always seems to fall on my cat here and stuff.
もう大きめの船持ってる人にはみんな声かけたんじゃないかな。
この島何人住んどるんや。
60人くらい。子供もいるんだよ。今は魚取りに海に出てんのかな。
お前にはずーっと付き合わせてもらったな。もうええで十分や。
いいよ、明日も手伝うって。もう一回頼んだら次は船出してもらえるかも。
家の手伝いとか勉強せなあかんやろ。
まあね。でもそれならもっと外のこと勉強したい。この島の外の世界をさ。俺ずっとここしか知らないから。一番近いネレ島も行ったことないし。
Well, I certainly don't care about that one.
話すのだって今日初めて。ね。
Still trying to get me my 5090. So far it's not going well.
まあ。
But supposedly next month it's supposed to increase.
もっと。
So I'll probably have to wait till then, but I'll still keep trying whenever I can. Because that's how I got my other stuff. I did not wait until it was in stock on those. I just got lucky and clicked faster and got them.
雰囲気だけは覚えとる。
There was a bunch of 40 or 5090 founders today, but I don't want a founders. I don't need a small 2-slot card. Not when I have a giant fractal torrent case. It would look kind of silly in there, if I'm honest. It'd be like putting a micro ATX motherboard in it.
いいね。行ってみたい。ねえ、おじさんが記憶取り戻すまででいいからさ。俺も島の外連れてってよ。 父ちゃんには内緒で。
子供の家出を手伝いちゅうか？
家出じゃなくてちょっと冒険するだけ。
それは？
死んだじいちゃんが捕まえたイカの牙。これ足の吸盤に一つずつついてんだよ。
イカの吸盤ってそんなにでかかったか？
これは特別。乗ってた船包んじゃうくらいでかかったって。
なるほどね。
でも世界は広いんだから、島にいるだけじゃ想像つかないくらい。俺は本当の話だと思う。じいちゃんめちゃくちゃ豪快で、この島に勝手に自分の名前つけるような人だしね。リッチ島って全然リッチじゃないのにさ。
ペンダントをもうちょい見せてくれ。
じいちゃんだけじゃないよ。父ちゃんは昔いろいろ飛び回ってたし、姉ちゃんも島の外のこと覚えてる。でも俺はそれを話して聞くだけ。父ちゃんはもうこの島出る気ないんだ。俺が赤ん坊の頃発作で咳込むと毎回死ぬんじゃないかってくらいひどかったんだって。だからホノルルシティから空気のいいこの島に戻った。今も俺がちょっと咳するだけで父ちゃんすぐ飛んでくるよ。でもちょうどよかったんだってさ。どうせ島の外はろくなことないから、他人は信用できないし、みんな勝手ですぐ裏切る。だったら俺たち家族はここでずっと気持ちよく酔ってるのがいい。俺は
He doesn't seem to like enjoy putting the booze down, that's for sure.
ここは狭い島やな。
でしょ。もう俺は赤ん坊の時とは違うのに、ずっとこのままじゃ俺ここしか知らない大人になっちゃうよ。だからおじさんね、俺もちょっとでいいから島を出てみたい。
記憶はないけど俺はヤクザや。もしかしたらどうしようもないクズかもしれん。けど命の恩返す程度にはまっとうなはずや。そんくらい記憶がなくてもわかる。
おじさん
ねえ例のは船捕まえたらお前も外に連れてったろ。男と男の約束や。
本当？絶対？
命の恩人に嘘はつかん。
何？
昼の海賊や。あいつらなんだ、コスプレかいな。
マッドランティスってとこから来てんだよ。
マッドランティス？
ギャングとかマフィアのたまり場の島。俺も行ったことないけど、あの海賊たちはそこのやつら。
そんなんがこの島で何しとる？
パイレーツコロシアムの訓練。
はあ？
海賊船同士で大砲撃ったり切り合ったり、昼間はしょっちゅう大砲の音が聞こえるよ。
海賊ごっこちゅうことか？
だね。ただそれで敵に勝つとすっごい稼げるんだって。
ほん。
なあジェイソン、お前んとこのガキといたんだよ。固めの日本人ヤクザ。ここにも来たんだろ。
とぼけんなって。本当に知らないんだよ。ノアもまだ帰ってきてないしな。そういえば心配だ。今日はもう店閉めて探しに行ってくる。
行くなら一人で行け。その間俺らはモアナに相手してもらう。
いいえ、無理だ。酒の種類も覚えてない。
俺らはいつものビールしか頼まねえよ。なら大丈夫だろ。飲んだくれの親父よりよっぽど楽しめそうだ。
なあモアナ、
ほらこっち来て座れよ。ね。
やっぱり今日はもう店閉める。悪いな、帰ってくれ。
固めのヤクザはどこにいる？あ？あいつは俺らを不意打ちして逃げた。見つけるまでモアナとたっぷり楽しんでやるぜ。いいよな。
おじさん。
何が不意打ちや。俺は売られた喧嘩買っただけやで。しょうもない見えはんな。
やっぱりやがったな。クソよ。
すまんかった。俺はなるべく早くこの島を出てく。それで勘弁してくれや。
逃げた方がいいんじゃない？
No.
そりゃあいつらに言うてる。
Well, that's one down. He's already dead. Oh, well, I guess that's that already.
まだ終わりちゃうやろ。こっちはやっとエンジン温まってきたとこやで。クソが。
Well, that didn't work so good for the old captain there, did it?
大丈夫か。腹やられて酒が逆流しかけたや。
大丈夫。ちゃんと飲み込んだ。
やだ、気持ち悪い。
大きにな。連中に俺の居場所とぼけてくれてたろ。
お前のためじゃねえ。息子が巻き込まれねえようにしたかっただけだ。勘違いすんな。
やめてよ。助けてもらったのにそんな言い方。そうだよ、父ちゃん。
Alright, though. I think that's more than plenty for camera recorded gameplay, so let's go wrap this video on up.
Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza, and Hawaii. And so far from the little I played, it's a very fun game. Pretty excited to actually play it for real though. And I don't know if I'm even gonna bother doing frame gen or anything else, because when I tried it on here, it got worse performance and then made it so I couldn't turn it off without the game crashing. And I was like, oh, that's pretty weird. I mean, I still might try it, but I'm not gonna enjoy having to reinstall every game just to get frame gen to turn off, you know? But I don't think the Fire Bat is even gonna get close enough, good enough FPS to even try it out anyway. It was barely close enough FPS on this thing for me to try it out. And then it still ended up being crap. But other than that though, it still ran pretty damn good. 720p low almost got a constant 60 by itself. And then you put a little quality FSR on top of that and you're pretty much golden. As long as you keep the settings reasonable, that is. You can't go and max the whole game out and still get, you know, like 1080p and FSR and all that shit. Still aren't gonna get 60. You're still gonna do either 900 or 720. Probably 720 from my testing. But that's okay on such a small screen. It looks terrible blown up when I do the screen recorded stuff, but on the actual screen itself, it didn't look that bad at all. Kind of looked like just a PS4 game, and PS4 games still look pretty damn decent, especially when you got such a small screen like this. It's harder to tell super fine detail on a screen this small. But anyway though, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoy making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.